Hello, everybody. My name is Raya, and you are listening to Happily Influenced by Madness, the podcast. This is episode 1. We just gonna get right into it. The madness. We're gonna talk about the madness on episode 1. My hopes is to introduce myself and to get you guys familiar with me so y'all can understand why I think the way I do and why I say some of the things that I say. I just want y'all to get to know me as I, put out more episodes. Y'all will be able to better get a glimpse of who is behind this microphone. So let's get right into the madness. As a child, I was forced into a religion, later to be discovered that it was ran like a cult. And here is how it almost ruined my life and my confidence. After peeling back layers of lies, I discovered everything was about power and control. They want my energy, my mind, my self-expression. Ain't it funny how the world wants you to work a 9 to 5, but they don't want you to be free? Crazy how depending on where you were born in the world, depending on your background, depending on your race, that depends on what religion they place you in. Religion control your mind, it control your actions and your feelings. And for me, that was too much. That wasn't fair at all. I was placed in Christianity, unfortunately. And that meant that if I didn't comply, I would go to hell. I remember the first time I heard of hell. I couldn't sleep for days. I examined my 8-year-old life and judged me and condemned myself to hell for anything that made me feel guilty. Religion, this cult, it took away my trust in myself, and then it made me believe in a man. And we all know, men don't even really care about women like that. This cult destroyed my consciousness, and it put me on such a high alert when I should have just been a little girl who loved existing. But instead, I hated me and my life. My mom, she basically made our pastor something like our dad. Whatever he said was law. I remember reading something that she wrote, and it said that she wanted to leave her city. She wanted to go to a new state. So she went to the pastor and asked him if it was a good idea for her to leave the state, and he told her no. He told her that what would be a good idea was to stay at that church and be a servant, basically. My thing is, you did it. I mean, no shade, no tea. I don't got no beef with my mom. But I have to talk about my upbringing unapologetically. If you ain't want it to look like this, then hey, you shouldn't have never did what you did. But it's no disrespect. This is just me telling my story. But that was weird to me because why would you ask your pastor if you can go somewhere? What the hell? But me being 8 years old and condemning myself to hell and being guilty and feeling all this guilt and shame for something that I never did. Like, I never did anything. I was a kid. Why am I feeling guilty? Why am I feeling shame? This destroyed me. It destroyed me so bad. But we couldn't wear pants. Let's get into that. Because that was one of the laws that the church gave, was we had to dress a certain way and we had to wear skirts. If y'all remember those girls back in the day that was at school with the skirts on, they was in the cold. Yep. And on top of that, they was cold because I was one of them. I was cold. And after they told us we had to wear a certain thing, Everything in my life subconsciously became a sin. I feel like, okay, if I can't wear a piece of clothing, what else is it that I don't know about that I can't do that could potentially send me to hell? Y'all, I used to be freaking out. I couldn't dance. I couldn't ask questions. I couldn't be me. Wearing certain clothes made me a target. I seen exactly how evil the world was at such a young age just by being different, just by being in this stupid ass cult. School days was the absolute worst. Being bullied by teachers and students just because I wore skirts every day. Nobody liked me. And it was crazy because at some point, I didn't even like me no more. I had talent, still got it, but I had talent and gifts that I neglected because of guilt that this cult has put on me to be a certain way and to be that way and that way only. I had gifts and I was so guilty. I felt like I was just doing everything wrong. I couldn't see through the blindness that cult had placed upon my eyes. And I remember being so cold wearing skirts in Michigan during the winter time. If you know Michigan in the winter is like negative 15 degrees. It can get really, really, really cold. I was so frozen. Eventually, my heart froze as well. 8th grade is when I felt the cold melting my emotions. It was frostbit anger. It just took over me. I was seeing other people and they were so happy and vibrant. They had freedom of expression when I was stuck in a box. I was getting older. I couldn't do nothing I loved because my mom was saying everything was a sin. Everything was a sin. Like, she was sheltering me and we always was at church. We was at church 3 to 4 days out of the week. It was like we was at church avoiding real life. Whole time, the way the church wanted me to be didn't fit my personality at all. And that was okay with me, but not my mom. I had talent, but it was overlooked and unnurtured. My mama couldn't see me. She only seen guilt and fear. Her own guilt and fear, hell, at that point. But the fear that they placed on me had me feeling like nothing I did would ever be good enough for God. Along with going to church daily, I faced a church of people who showed us that they was so much better than us. They hated us at that church because they was a part of the pastor's family. The church, it was all a big family, but it had us outsiders too. But the main congregation was like the pastor's family. They treated us so bad. They looked down on us. Well, me, because I can only speak for myself, but they looked down on me because they had more money and more recognition in the church. They was doing like everything. It was crazy because I remember they used to treat my mama like shit. They had cliques and favorites and we was never included because we was broke compared to them. I never had a fair chance. They made sure we knew that we didn't compare to them. What the fuck you think that does to a child? It breaks them to pieces. My mom was my first example of a woman and she let them make her feel small, ripping away her dreams and aspirations. She wanted to play the guitar and they hated when she brought it to church. So she just shy away. Walking boldly in her power is what she didn't do. I vividly remember how they would make her turn her volume down on her guitar during service. It was so low that nobody could really hear her no more. I hated watching that. And she never stood up for herself. So after seeing all that shit, I get into the real world, timid, shy, scared, with no confidence, bound to get ate up. And that's exactly what happened. Thank you for listening to Happily Influenced by Madness Part 1. Part 2 on the way.